The boss man's away, so I'm admiring a pile of rocks that I made. I was using the excavator to break up some rocks that are in the ground here. Works similar to getting stumps out of the ground, and it turns big rocks, especially sandstone and such, into smaller rocks. But now that the boss man's away, I got the shovel. I'm gonna come over here with the skid steer. I'm Justin Hitt from Prosperity Homestead, and we're at a demonstration site where we're putting together a container shed barn. And there's something I'm supposed to be doing here. Now, I didn't get told to do this. I just know it needs to be done. But look at all that dirt inside the track. And so while the boss man's away, I'm going to get that dirt out of the tracks. And I'm also going to get that dirt out from behind the tracks. So I'm going to use a shovel. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me do this. I'm just telling you how important it is. I'm going to use the shovel to carefully scoop all this out. I'm going to do the same thing on both sides. And then I'm just going to do a walkthrough. Just make sure there's no rocks on anything. Basically all the stuff I was told to take off when he's running around, I'm going to take care of while he's gone. So when he comes back, he's got a nice, neat little machine. And all I got to do is carefully scrape this out, because it's actually clay. And just drop it on the ground here. But I want this dirt out of here so that it doesn't get in the way of the gear system here. And so there's actually regular maintenance you got to do. It's going to be a lot more effective with a shovel and a big stick. But look at the wonderful job that's being done. I can't even in some spots stick that shovel. Let me show you. Can't even stick that shovel much into the ground. This stuff is packed down, compact, smoothed out, looking fine, looking good. And we're getting to the point where we're going to start using the laser level and using the A-frame, which are two things you must learn how to use. It's going to make your life easier to start and get in this level. Fortunately, the only place we ran into rocks is up top up there. And we're using the excavator to get the rocks down. And the skid steer is to slide that dirt around and get it clean. Now, this is a little tight of a spot for two guys to be using equipment here. Oh, excuse me. So he's going to run off and run a couple errands real quick. And I'm going to continue to pick up rocks. Of course, I'm doing a little video for you guys so you can see how this works. But all those rocks, I touched each one with my hands and put them there in a pile. And then, of course, I'll see what other rocks I can get, as well as get all this dirt out of the tracks so we don't have it all gunk up. That's a technical term. And it being clay, and being that the clay has got a real good moisture level and it's compacting good, it's compacting really good, we don't want it to compact and dry out in the tracks, because that will be a problem. So I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead. This has been a quick update of what we're doing here on this site. It's not a secret what we're doing here. It's something you can learn. It's something you could implement. It's something you might need to do on your own small farm, homestead, or estate. Whether you're putting in a barn or you're putting in a pole building, those foundations are pretty similar. That's the plans that we're using for this. And if you'd like to ask specific questions, there are some concepts we have to be aware of when it comes to like the changing of the soil, the color changes of the soil. And you know, when we're hitting rocks and stuff, and we hit a lot of rock, we can't be digging there anymore. We'll have to make adjustments. Fortunately, the type of rock that we're hitting, we can keep going through. And then again, it may seem insignificant. You know, if you gave this to your teen, they might think this was a useless job. But getting all these sticks out of here, especially the big rocks, is going to make this job go faster, because any one of these big rocks could get stuck up in the tracks and cause us to push a track off, or it can cause a hard spot in the compaction. Remember, and I know I repeat myself on these videos, but remember, only the bottom part of this is fill. I just assume everybody's going to be critical watching this, and they're going to be in the comments going, yeah, you can't fill in it. No, only the bottom part is fill, and we make sure there are no rocks in it, because water, as it soaks into the clay, which it will do, once it finds a hard rock, will go around the rock. It may soak at an even density because we have a nice level surface, but when it starts to go around that rock, water will pressurize around the rock, causing separation and fissures. And then if we have rocks in the frost layer and they freeze, then we're going to have a gap in the soil, which could cause water to store and freeze over time, and eventually a failure. Our goal is, with this type of earthworks, whether this would be a garden area, the foundation for a barn, or if you're working with a general contractor, the foundation for a permanent home. We want to make sure that foundation's built one time. How many times, folks? One time, and it lasts for 75 to 100 years at a minimum. And so when we're done with this, we want it to be so natural, so erosion free, and never needs another bit of repair. Because again, if you're renting this type of equipment or you're hiring a contractor to come in, you don't have this stuff sitting around on your site. And if you do own a piece of equipment like this, then you probably have it working on your farm. So it's a great blessing to have people in our region who manage farms and can help manage this particular farm here as we implement the design plan here at Prosperity Homestead that puts a barn unit right here, some temporary shelters and storage for animal feed and hay, and then of course has a number of paddock zones surrounding this particular space, which will have permanent power to run fence chargers as we graze animals through these woods. It's a powerful system that we're showing you step-by-step implementation. You won't find this elsewhere. We're actually building out a documentary so you can learn how to do this and get the fundamentals. But essentially, it's more than just grabbing an excavator and running around. People tell you it's like video games, and yeah, that it may be, but it's also can be second nature as you get practice. And I probably need another 100 hours before I'll be up to par with what we're doing here. But I'll tell you what, I know the maintenance, and that's what I'm gonna get to do right now. I'm gonna clean out these tracks. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing here. If you subscribe at our website, www.prosperityhomestead.org, you can get updates of all we talk about with permaculture design, homestead management, light construction and land projects associated with habitat restoration, and then ultimately our erosion management and other factors that are regular mainstays on a large farm. You might have 5 acres or more, you might have 500 acres, but with the right management program, zoning out your property, gridding out your property, you can ultimately build as you need, what you need, and get the results that you're looking for. Again, ask your questions at www.prosperityhomestead.org, and we'll get to work.